This is the chimney to the fireplace. It's just inside this shelter. And I thought about this long before I started thinking about how I was going to go about making the shelter. Because to me, this is the most important thing. Any sort of shelter can keep rain off your head and keep you safe from the elements or whatever. But I wanted this fireplace to be as functional as possible. So inside it's got enough room I can put big logs in there, have a fire going all night. I've got multiple locations I can cook in. But it doesn't just stop there. On the outside here, I wanted to utilise this space. On a previous shelter that I built, there was an embankment, and I had my fireplace going into that embankment, and then I had a chimney running underground for a few metres before it popped up, and that cooled that smoke coming out of the fire. Not completely cold, but cooled it enough that I built a smoker over the top of it, and I could smoke cheese in there, and it didn't melt too much, but I could get that real nice smoky cheese. This one, on the other hand, it's pretty hot. You know, if I really build that fire up, I can get flames looking out of this chimney here. But I still want to build a smoker here, and I can actually cook my food inside this smoker. So I can have a fire going inside, and have food cooking on the outside as well. So what I'm doing in this video, long story short, I'm going to build a temporary smoker out here just to test it all out, and then in the future at some stage I'll build a more permanent structure out here. But yeah, this video we're just going to test this bad boy out and see if it works. Thanks for watching. Let's get into the video. So I've collected some wood and I've left all the pokies on them, so all the short little branches, so that gives me more options as I'm building it. I can decide what works where and cut it to size, cut them off if I don't want them, but at least if they're there I can utilise them to sit rails in, come through, so I don't have to lash everything on. And if it works out, then I can make a more substantial structure later on. Alright, I've just cut these rails down a little bit just to make it easier to wrap the canvas over it. And at the moment, the only cordage I've got is right at the very top holding this tripod together. And hopefully that's all I have to use. Now, what I've got to do now is I'll get some other rails that I can throw in here, and they're just going to lay on top. Alright, I've got that shelf sorted. Now it's time to address this. So I can take that off. The potential hazard for this is that I'm attaching timber and flammable materials directly above my chimney, and as you can see, the black here is where flames have been hitting it, so there's always the potential that this could catch fire. And because of that, I haven't attached this to the shelter in any way. It's just sitting there, and if I keep an eye on it, if this does catch fire, I can just hook it with a big pole, rip it to the side and pull it away from the shelter and let it burn on the ground. We've had heaps of rain here in the last couple of weeks. Like, I'm talking like an inch of rain a day. So the ground's super wet and muddy. So there's no chance that it's going to cause a bushfire if I pull it away from the shelter and let it burn out on the ground. But if I had all this attached to the shelter and tied off and it caught fire, there's not a lot I can do apart from pray that the shelter doesn't burn down. The smoke's going to naturally want to travel uphill, so it's angled up like that at the moment. So the smoke's going to come out the back there, right inside. Some of it will come out front here. Right, these are pretty filthy. They're a bit of off-cut bit of canvas that I've got. Been using it to wipe mud off my hands, and I've been doing other videos. But it's wet. It's been laying on the ground. I can use that. Got an old sheet which I use to wrap clay up in when I'm doing pottery. Collect the clay, process it up, and when it's liquefied, I'll put it in here, hang it, and let it slowly dry out. But if you're interested in pottery, I've got a couple of videos on the channel doing that. I'm showing how to refine clay that you collect in the bush. But I'm just going to wrap this around and we'll see what happens. Alright, put the sausages in there. I'll just do my best. Wrap this up and contain all that smoke inside that chamber. Now this is going to make my shelter a bit smoky inside. As you can imagine, suddenly all this smoke can't get out. It's just filling up in here. A little bit's coming out the top there, but I imagine inside the shelter it's going to be kicking back in as well. As it fills up the chimney and the fireplace and it can't get that smoke out, it's going to have to go somewhere, so it'll more than likely push back into the shelter a bit. That's all right, I'll just sit outside here and enjoy the day. I've got a pretty good fire going now. I started out with a real small fire, but now I've got it well and truly raging, just to get the heat into it, because it wasn't all that hot. I could put my hand inside there and it wasn't that hot that I had to pull my hand out. But now if I try to put my hand in there, I don't get my whole arm in there before I find I've got to pull my arm back out because it's too hot. So that's going to be cooking. I could have done it faster if I had a butterflied the sausages, but I wanted to get them all in the smoker at the same time, and I didn't have enough space. I could have put another shelf in there, but I didn't want to spend more time on it. I just want to test it out, see how it's going to go. But the weather gods, as seems to be always the case with me, every time I decide to go out and film something, it rains on me. So yeah, we just had a shower of rain. Winds are picking up, and yeah, it's threatening. Definitely threatening. All right, well the sun's come out again, kind of. But I'm getting to a point where I've really got to keep an eye on this, because this sheet is that hot I can't hold my hand on it. So it's extremely hot. And obviously all the timber inside is extremely hot as well. So there's a chance that this could catch fire. So I need to keep an eye on it, and if it does I can just pull it to the side. But yeah, it's still cooking away nicely. So I'm just going to open this up. This might get a bit smoky. Oh, can you see that? Well, that's pretty good. It's pretty hot. Pretty good. Just cut it open. Try to cut it open. Ow. She's warm. Alright, there it is. It's got a nice colour on the outside of it. Colour's not everything. How's it taste? That's pretty good. Thanks for watching.